Hey, good morning.
Good morning, Matt.
Hey, well, we've got the 2018 Eco Flyer behind us.
Yes.
I got the 2017 Eco and love it, and I'm already noticing some differences between that and mine. So I'm anxious to find out more about it.
Well, that's what we're here for. We're actually going to discuss the changes that came to the 2018 Eco, actually out of building the new VRV Flyer. We started the Flyer late in 17 after initiating the Eco into the marketplace, but we learned some things about building the Flyer that we wanted to bring over to the Eco. And so here we're going to meet this morning. We're going to talk about some of the new changes, which are just vast improvements in the Eco that make it even better than what it was before. But before we get off into that, one of the things I'd like to do is introduce the audience to who you are and what you do, and the fact that you have field tested your own Eco now on several trips up through the mountains, crossing the streams. And if anybody looks at the website, that's Matt's vehicle and his unit crossing the creeks here in Arkansas. So, and I know you have a big trip planned out west in your Eco here this coming month. You're going to be taking off and headed to Colorado and do some trail work back there. So would you mind sharing a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I've been off-roading for, gosh, 6 years now. I've always loved the outdoors, always loved hiking and photography and all the waterfalls we have here in Arkansas. And until you and I met and got my own Eco, I was always very much a minimalist and just sleeping in a hammock, and whether it was 80 degrees out or even 20 degrees. But now that we've got the Eco, it's really opened up a whole new realm of where we can go and what we can do, and we've loved it. Absolutely loved, taking it out around here in Arkansas, and really looking forward to our trip to Colorado. And we're going to start near Denver, and we're going off-road all the way from Denver, camping each night in a different location, all the way to Ouray.
Great.
And just taking it in.
You're going to see some fantastic sights when you're out there. But you pull with a Jeep Wrangler.
I do.
Okay. And how does the Eco pull behind your Jeep?
Sometimes I don't even know it's there.
Right.
I mean, they're so lightweight. I think mine weighs like 800 pounds, 900 pounds when it's loaded. And so a lot of times I don't even realize it's back there. It makes maybe 1 miles per gallon difference on my fuel economy when I'm traveling. So that's not that big of a deal.
You actually teach and coach on trail etiquette and navigation too, don't you? What organization do you do that through? Some
buddy of mine have a group called Natural State Overland, and they do a big event each fall called Rendezvous in the Ozarks, and I'll teach classes there on navigation and trail etiquette. Have you found the size of the Eco to actually be a benefit to you when you're out there in the trails? Because the one thing that the Eco provides, some people, there's been a lot of acceptance. I won't say acceptance, I'll actually say enthusiasm about the larger Flyer, because it allows this setup space on top of the sofa inside the unit. However, the Eco is actually lighter weight, a little bit shorter sidewall at 48 inches sidewall. It should be more maneuverable, less obstructions with tree limbs, and some of the guys that I actually have pulling Ecos out west are saying when they get into some of those canyon places where there can be some overhanging rocks along the side of the road, that the shorter Eco is a benefit to them, because they don't worry about these rocky sidewall, whatever you call them, where they jut out, into the overhangs. That's one of the things I love about the Eco, is that it is small, and it's a little bit narrower than my Jeep is, and sits no taller than my Jeep. So I know that if I'm, especially in the Ozarks or any place with a lot of possible overhanging trees, I know if my Jeep fits under it, the Eco's going to fit under it as well. And if I can fit between, maybe 2 trees that are down or a couple of rocks on the trail, I know the Eco's going to fit as well, and I don't have to worry about it.
Right. Well, I think what we set out to do at VRV is to design a unit to basically fit various markets, whatever the consumer need is. I really believe the Eco, because of its weight and its size, is a very aggressive unit for off-road use. For trail use, it can be pulled places that the larger Flyer can't, or maybe shouldn't be pulled. The Flyer is more of a daytime trip unit, great set up properly. It can do the overland. You can have the overland experience in the Flyer as well. But the Eco, I think, really has that ability to be pulled certain places that the Flyer just won't go. Well, with that, I guess I want to talk to the audience a little bit about the changes between your unit in 2017 and what this one behind us has in it.
Well, now, don't get me too excited that I feel like I have to trade mine in to get the new one. So, but I definitely want to see. I can see some differences in the interior, some differences on the exterior that's already making me a little bit jealous. But yeah, show me around.
One of the things that we found right away with the Flyer is that we needed to go to a different roof frame. We needed to go. Of course, our unit is built entirely out of an all welded aluminum frame.
Yeah, it's really strong.
Yes.
Yeah, it doesn't flex at all on the trail. It holds up well.
I mean, that is the core of what VRV does. You can take everything else, you can wrap it onto the frame, but really the essence of what a VRV Flyer is a teardrop with the same all welded aluminum frame that we've been doing for 10 years in our toy haulers. These things, you don't get them going down a dry creek bed where it's bouncing back and forth and pretty soon the walls are shifting with that bounce. This is a cage, the entire cage.
Yeah, I've taken mine down some creek bed.
Exactly.
That's some water crossings that have been like that.
Well, then you understand, and that all aluminum, all welded, every joint in the frame is welded. Frame is the key to every Flyer that we build. And then we put the extruded floor in there, and we actually weld the aluminum extruded floor to the base frame, and that even gives more strength to the unit. Takes even more flex out of the unit as a whole. But in 2018, some of the things that we learned from building the Flyer and the first Ecos in late 2017 is with our roof frame that is able to support the optional roof ACs and everything like that. We also needed, with the roof AC, we needed to have a second opening. The 2017 unit was built with one vent opening, and you got the power roof vent as standard equipment, but then if you option for the roof AC, which here in the South is very important.
I used mine a couple weeks ago, made it very nice, being out in the hot and humid nights with that AC.
Very nice. But if you option for that roof AC, the power roof vent had to go away, which meant you were reduced to not having ventilation unless you were attached to shore power somehow, or a generator in order to operate the AC. So what we've done in 2018, we moved the power roof vent forward just behind the break over the radius, and it sits there and it's permanent. It's there
so
all the
both.
time. They have both.
Oh man.
And then into the roof frame just behind the power roof vent, we integrated a hole into the frame to support the AC. So if you option for the AC, you get the AC in addition to the power roof vent. And I've gotten a ton of feedback on that. That's a very positive move that we made, because it allows you, if you're off the grid, you have 12 volt ventilation. If you have access to generator or shore power, you have the use of the AC if you wish. That was one of the main things that we started with. The other thing that we learned very quickly is in 2017, we had all interior storage on the Ecos. We didn't have any exterior storage. And so what we did is we incorporated full pass-through front storage into the Eco, and during the walk around we'll show you that. And another thing that we did is we found it very important. I think this is another great improvement in the Eco. We went and made all axles brake axles. So we did all Ecos are built on a 45-degree down brake axle with a 7-way wiring harness. And in that 7-way wiring harness, not only do you get the operation of the brakes, but you also get a charge line to your battery. So anytime that the unit's being towed, your battery's being charged. So one of the other benefits of having the brake axles is that we actually do a breakaway switch for the brakes as well. So if your unit ever becomes separated from the tow vehicle, it will automatically stop itself. So those are the electrical improvements that we made in the unit over 2017.
Yeah, I'm excited about the 7-way being on the Ecos, because that's going to be great for my trip out to Colorado, because I can keep my electric fridge in the camper and not have to worry about the battery going dead on it, because it'll be constantly charged.
Right.
And
I
I'm
mean,
really
whether
excited
you're
about that.
towing or if you find yourself running the battery down a little bit from use, all you have to do is back your tow vehicle up to it, plug it in, operate your motor for a little while, let the alternator just recharge the battery.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yeah, it was pretty much a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Pretty obvious improvement that we need to do. The other thing that we did is that the Flyer, the larger sidewall Flyer, we originally built with a hatch rear door, and as you can see, we decided to bring that over to the Eco as well,
Right,
instead of the double barn doors.
Yeah, the double barn doors.
It gets the doors up and out of the way. If you're walking around the unit, you're moving around the unit on the outside, it gets the doors out of your way. You don't have to walk around.
Makes for a nice little rain shelter too if you happen to be out and it's raining.
Correct. Rain, sun, it gets you in and out of the sun. All the things that we said it would do for the Flyer, it does for the Eco as well. So that probably has been one of the structural differences that people have gone really crazy over. They love the rear hatch doors, and it works great with the outer rooms. It just gets up out of the way, out of the outer room, and you don't have any doors to have to work around on the inside there. Another thing that we did is we moved away from the pull-down stabilizer jacks, which those stabilizer jacks were just that. They were just stabilizer jacks. On the new Ecos and the new Flyers, we are doing a crank-down 4,000-pound load leveling C-type jack. And all you have to do is just insert the crank from the outside. It mounts right behind the rear wheel, and you just crank this down, and you can actually pitch the vehicle using this. Some people have actually used it where they needed to change a tire. All you had to do was just run the jacks down, lift the tire right off the deal. It has 25 inches of travel, and like I said, each jack is rated at 4,000 pounds. So it's not that there's any kind of weight limit that the Eco's going to put on this jack. And that's one of the other improvements that we've made as well. We're really positioning the Eco to be a true trail-worthy unit. The frame has always been there, but now with some of the accessories that we're adding to it, or not accessories, but just some of the change in features, we're getting it more prepped to be off the grid a little bit longer. We're doing optional lock and roll hitches now. On the units for people who want a fully articulating hitch, and with you and your Jeep and other people like you, I think that that's very important.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, in moving part of the electrical, I forgot to say, is that we moved the battery in off of the time. Used to in 2017, the battery sat out on the front platform in a battery case. We actually changed to a gel battery to bring the battery into that front storage area. I'll show you that here in a moment. And get it off that front tongue, off that platform. We expanded the platform to give you room for storage boxes.
I'm a little jealous about that.
And extra, yeah, I understand. We're going to have to do something about yours. We're going to have to add to it. But bringing the battery inside the coach freed up the front platform. It gave you more outside storage space, more usable space on the outside as well.
Yeah.
We have the same roof backers in the top, but we'll talk more about that when we take a look at the roof as we do our walk around.
That's great. Yeah, I wanted to mention with the from personal experience with the 45-degree down axle and the AT tires that is an option on these. You know, when you're off-roading and overlanding, the ground clearance is really important. And my Flyer actually has probably a little more ground clearance with that setup than my Jeep does. So that's really nice.
Yeah, we get asked a lot about ground clearance on the units because people are taking these units very seriously for off-road use because of the all-welded frame and everything. And we have reinforced the front tube, tongue tube, and actually the reinforced tongue tube hangs just a little bit lower than our axle tube. And I know that there's people talking about there's a new wheel system out there, or axle system, that's independent to each side of the unit, that mounts to the frame independently. I want to say that it's my opinion that I believe our torsion axles are actually a safer setup than that. I've seen some of these guys in some of the places take their units, and I've seen side action out of the trailer where it might slip or shift on a pitched trail or surface.
Right.
And one of the things that I think our torsion axle provides over that type of suspension system is the security
Yeah,
of
because
the
it can't
axle.
twist at all.
Right.
Yeah,
You get
nice.
4 contact points with the frame where the axle is actually mounted, and it is tied together. So one hub and one wheel cannot have stresses put on it that will turn or twist it that doesn't affect the other. It's actually held in alignment.
Yeah, I
by
prefer
the other
that.
side.
That's nice.
Yeah, and with our tongue, it's not a ground clearance issue because our tongue actually hangs a little bit lower than our axle does underneath. The axle has an upward pitch in it through the center. So ground clearance is an issue. Our torsion axles, we select those specifically in consideration for that. But with all the reinforcement that we're doing under the unit, the axle's not an issue. You're actually, with our AT tire setup, you're looking at about you're looking at about 20 inches of ground clearance.
Wow.
At the coach. And you can see that the departure angles are great.
Mm-hmm.
The unit's overall length, you don't worry about taking the tongue out headed up an incline as you approach an incline with the unit. So ground clearance is always a factor, and one of the things that we consider with every design change that we make in the VRV flyers.
Well, that's great. I'm excited about this. Show me. Take me around. Show me.
All right. Okay. Let's just start at the front end of the new Eco, and I'll tell you a little bit. As we already talked about, one of the first things I'd like to show you is that this ATP plated front platform is larger than what it was in 2017. And this is actually 3/16 inch thick ATP plating that we put onto here, that we weld onto a 2x2 frame that is a part of the A-frame of the structural support of the base frame of the unit. This is a big improvement. This is large enough for a storage box up here. It's large enough for people to actually mount generators up here if they see the need for doing that. Jerry cans of fuel, water, whatever it is that somebody feels like they need, that's what this is for. Over here, we used to do the 30 amp power cord was stowed underneath the front storage cabinet, but since now that we have this front storage, we eliminated that, and we actually do a 30 amp plug-in cord here, detachable, that stays in the front storage. And then you can see here is the solar port that we prep on every flyer. This is a ZAMP solar port. This is designed, we integrate it into the wall for you. All you have to do is select your solar panel, either to the freestanding out here so that you can camp in the shade, but your panel's in the sun. You just attach here, set up your charge controller on the inside, and tie right into the battery system in the front storage area. This is the 7-way wiring harness that we were talking about. This allows you, with a proper brake controller inside your tow vehicle, to have electric brakes on your unit. Your axle comes standard as a brake axle. This is the breakaway pin switch to activate your brakes in case your unit ever separates. You just hook this to your tow vehicle. If the Eco ever becomes separated from the tow vehicle, it just pulls this pin and then activates the brake system itself and will stop itself. We always have done the crank up swivel front tongue jack, our coupler, but we are, like I said, you can get an optional lock and roll fully articulating hitch in the front. That's pretty much the front of the unit, what we've done as far as changes there. Here's the one that we were talking about, the new front storage area. This front storage area runs through, all the way through, it's pass through. So this allows you to put a lot of things, carry along on the unit, a lot of things that you wouldn't want to carry inside the coach where you're going to be sleeping. Whether it's your chocks, your blocks, anything like that, your chains, what you might use, jacks that you might use in order to get your Jeep or your Eco out of a bind out on the trail. These things can all be carried here in this front storage, and it goes all the way through. Now, one of the things that you'll see, Matt, if you'll just go to that door right there, I'll show. This is some of the stuff that I was talking about. Your battery is now here, it's not out on the front platform. And so to be able to accessorize your unit, You can add a second battery easy enough here. Here's your 30 amp electrical panel. You can tie straight in here. And here's where your amp outlet on the outside comes through and is ready to have your charge controller mounted here on the wall and be able to loop straight to your battery. So this is a lot more convenient for being able to accessorize your unit with any kind of electronics or electrical systems that you may want to add to it, as well as being a great storage area. One of the things I want you to see too is that your cabinetry, your interior cabinetry, is supported by an all welded aluminum frame. We put an aluminum frame under we build all of our cabinetry on top of all welded aluminum frames to start with. This gives you structural integrity even on your wood cabinetry inside that most other RV manufacturers don't do. One of the things along with the front platform that we did is we actually enlarged the size of the fender step. And the fender step is here for two purposes. Basically, it is that it acts as a way to deflect trees, rocks, or anything else from hitting your fender, capturing your wheel, being able to do any kind of damage like that to the unit as you're going down through the trail. But the other thing is that in every Eco and every Flyer, we integrate into the roof frame a 3-inch wide, a 1x3 tube is integrated down the side of each side of the unit in the roof for mounting track systems, roof rack systems, if you want to mount an awning, crossbar systems, whatever you want to do. The backers are right here for you to mount those to. And then the other thing I was wanting to share with you is the power roof vent. We moved it forward onto the roof right here, and then your hole or your access for the roof AC is actually right in this position right here. And so you can actually have a roof AC on your Eco as well as having the power roof vent. One of the things I want to share with you about the power roof vent is that the power roof vent is a max air unit. It's a 4-speed reversible power roof vent with a rain sensor. So when it's open, should it start to rain, it will sense the rain, it will actually close the unit. But this remote is actually thermostatically controlled. You can set your temperature for when you want that power roof vent to come on. That way you're not just running the roof vent, you're not just draining your battery all the time, but it actually is temperature sensitive. So you just set this inside the coach. When it reaches that temperature, it will activate the roof vent. It will just keep you cool, it will circulate your air, and then it will cut off when it hits the temperature that you're looking for it to hit. Another thing, Matt, I'd like you to step up here and see, if you would. We have the 120 volt outlets outside. This is for accessories and such. If you need to bring along things that you would use in this area, you have access to that, including air pumps, compressors, whatever you may have for charging any type of system that you have access to be able to do. We've done the same LED exterior porch light that we did in 2017.
Nice. I love that feature.
Yeah, it's carried over into 2018. And then in our front cabinetry, I'd like to show you that right now. In the 2017, we actually had cabinet doors here. And so all the storage for the unit was actually from the interior. Well, we removed the cabinet doors here on the face of this cabinet in order to separate out the exterior storage. But you still have, we actually increased the size of the storage up above. This opening above is a little bit larger than it was in 2017 to give you more storage area here on this shelf inside the coach. But in here, you have the same USB ports, double USB ports for phone charging. You have a 12 volt outlet for your refrigerator that you were mentioning, or any other 12 volt system that you might have. You have another 120 volt outlet right there. And then you have your 30 amp panel, easily accessible for checking breakers, fuses, anything else that you might, if you ever need to add something in. Like I said, you can wire from behind through the front storage area. You'll always have access to check your breakers, your fuses, if you need to use that for any of those systems. Then, as we talked about, This is actually built standard as a 45-degree down axle now. For some people, we've actually had some people express interest in the Eco and buy the Eco for purposes of pulling behind street rides, believe it or not. In those cases where we're looking for a little bit lower profile and a different look, we can actually build the Eco on a 20-degree down axle. And that brings it down about 3 inches from where it is right now. It's a little lower, a little sleeker, but as I said, we're actually designing these units for off-road use, and so it comes standard with the 45-degree down axle, brake axle now. These are your clips mounted here to the fender that you can see. These clips are here and located here on the roof. This is for use with the Adder-room. They're actually straps sewn into the Adder-room sleeve where you hook into this. That keeps the tent taut and against the unit. Wind will not separate it from the Eco. Weather, storms, whatever, the tent stands strong against weather because it's actually tied to your unit. All LED lighting, all lighting on the Ecos and the Flyers is LED. All your running lights, your brake lights, signal lights. And one of the things that with the use of the Adder-room that we did is we took this brake light and we actually separated out the reverse light. This will actually is here on a switch just inside the wall to light up an Adder-room if you option for that and choose to use it with your unit. So you don't have to have additional lighting and cords and everything to try to keep your Adder-room lit at night. Plus, if you don't use the Adder-room, it's a great light for just having visibility outside your coach as you're moving around. You're loading, you're unloading, you're camping, you're setting gear up, whatever. If you come into camp late at night, this is just additional lighting along with the porch light on the outside. And with all of the units, we do the crank out windows. We choose these windows. They're actually made by Lippert Components out of Elkhart, Indiana. We choose those because they are crank out and they're not sliders. You'll look at a lot of teardrops, they'll put the horizontal slide or even vertical slide windows in their units. The crank out window is much better because actually this allows you to shed rain. You can leave it open, you can leave your power roof vent on, even if it's going to be a stormy evening, even if it's going to rain. You can actually leave your windows open for air circulation and you don't get any kind of water penetration inside the unit. Some people ask, how could you go to the rear hatch roof with a lower stance unit? And this is high. We changed the pitch of the hatch roof from 110 degrees to 130 degrees here in order to get access to be able to walk up to the unit, walk in, and just where you would go under, you go inside the unit. Oh, another thing I wanted to share with you is here, as well as that outside outlet, there's another 120 volt outlet here. Just in case you do have the sleeved Adder-room, your kids might be out here sleeping, you might have them out here entertaining themselves and they need access to power or something. You have a 120 volt outlet right here just inside the door for any use that you may have here at the back of the unit. Now, the Eco was designed in its small size. We couldn't do the sleeper sofa that we do in the larger Flyer. However, it was never really designed for that purpose. The Eco was designed just like any of our adventure teardrops, and that is to be a gear carrier as well as your sleeping room. So what we did is basically we designed our mattresses as two separate mattresses that kick over against the wall so that you can just carry your camping tote boxes inside the unit, be able to remove those, lay your mattresses down, and it forms a queen-size bed. And sleeping at night is just that simple. Roll out your sleeping bags. That's a 4-inch dense foam mattress. It's very, very comfortable. You will not feel the floor through that. And it just provides your queen bed, your sleeping area, and you're ready. And when you're ready to go at the end of your trip, you're ready to head back home, it's just as simple. Just take the mattresses, separate them, stand them up against the sidewall, and then just load your gearboxes back into the unit. And you've got enough floor space to carry as much gear as I think you really want to carry in a unit this size. The other thing that I wanted to share with you that's new in 2018 about the Eco, and this is really the last thing to share with you today, is that on this roadside fender step, as I said, we made it larger. We are also now integrating backers into our sidewall frame here. 2 1x4 tubes that come down through the frame here with some horizontal cross members. This will allow you to actually be able to mount roto packs to the outside. Any type of system that you want. I know that there's a RotoPack hot water system that a lot of people want to use for an outside shower. That can be mounted directly to the wall right here, and your LP bottle can be mounted here on the fender step. So we did that purposely to give people who are good DIY project enthusiasts the opportunity to attach things to the outside of the unit, have it supported by a platform in the front, on the sides. But on this side here where we don't have the side entry door, you can now mount things to the wall if you wish. Well, Matt, I don't know if there's much more I can tell you about these units. I hope that this video will show people, number one, structurally how the Eco is built, why it is different than anything else that you can buy out there in the marketplace right now. We absolutely have the best frame, and the frame is the heart and soul of any unit. It is it determines how your unit will hold up. Our fit and finish is great, but our fit and finish wouldn't be worth anything if we didn't put it on top of our frame system that we use. So these changes that we did from 2017 to 2018 are very important, but more important than anything is even with the 2017 models where we started. And I hope this video and the photos in the video will help people to understand why the Eco is just better than some of the other units out there on the marketplace. We're considered a high value for what you get. You get a tremendous amount built into a VRV Eco for the price that you wind up paying for it. And if anybody has any questions, I am Tom Brawley. I design and build these, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have. But check out our website too. Let me show that to you. Website is teardrops by vrv.com. You'll find a gallery of photography there. There'll be more information there that can answer questions for you as well as what this video does. But thank you, and I hope you find yourself interested in buying one of our products. And Matt, happy trails to you, and I hope you enjoy your trip to Colorado with your Eco.